Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to Kit Krunch time. Yes, and Kit Krunch is where we take a few items that cost under $3, make an entire kit, and then we play with it for the entire month. How fun is that? And of course it is sponsored by my lovely subscribers Tracy and Cynthia. And Cynthia, I hope you're listening because I hope you're recovering and I hope you're doing well. Just wanted to say that. You have been in my prayers, friend. And so I'm going to play with Kit Krunch again, and then I'm going to also use a load prompt, still playing with that. I'm really getting my money's worth. Yeah, I think I probably will have all of them done by a few weeks. But the technique prompt, or I should say the story prompt that Alice gave us, of course, it's about the Wizard of Oz, that type of thing. And it says, in the Wizard of Oz, there was no wizard, of course, just a man behind the curtain. So scrapbook about a revelation or something you discovered. And so then the technique prompt she gave us was to use something hidden or create a surprise on your layout. So of course there's many ways you can take that prompt. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrapbook a couple photos of my home, and it was a revelation I had several years ago and I probably will never forget it. It was like a defining moment in my life and it had to do with my home. So I'm going to record that story and then of course use my Kit Krunch. And so I only have 2 photos, but I'm going to talk about my photos in just a minute. And, well, I might as well do that now. Why not? Okay, there are my papers. Okay, so I'm going to put this white piece of paper here. Now, my Kit Krunch supplies that started the whole kit was this blue paper, of course, and this lovely yellow floral, which I can tell you right now, that's what I'm going to use. And then also I get a piece of this transparency to use. Beautiful transparency. What are some of the quotes? Oh, yes, everyday moments. Time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. Yes, amen to that. That is so true. That might really be something I could put on my page. I'm glad I read that. Okay, and then I also get to play with one of these sheets of these label and word stickers. So definitely going to play with that because it has to do with my home. And so, of course, I'm going to use wood green and I'm going to use floral. And I can already tell you, this one's going to make the cut and this one's going to make the cut. And everything else will probably just land where it lands. But those are my 2 papers that I want to play with because in Kit Krunch, it was basically, getting some items that were new to me. And this is new to me, okay? And I want to play with that. And so then let's talk about my photos. So I'm going to be using these 2 photos here, and they're almost a 4x4, but I wanted to talk about this because that's what I decided on. But what I printed was this, and this, and this, and yes, these. Okay, and so, and I'll talk about my story when I come back with my finished page. But when I printed these photos, I also use the mood and feel concept when I'm printing my photos, not just when I'm picking my papers and playing with supplies, things like that, but it's also my photos, the size, and then also too, what finish I'm going to use. So this was the original image. It's 4x6. It just was not, it just did not give me the mood and feel. It looked a little out of focus. It didn't feel as compact as what I had in my brain. So I thought, okay, well, I'll print that in a black and white. Nothing wrong with them. It's just not the mood and feel I was going for. I was going for something a little bit more cozy, and this just wasn't giving it to me. So then I decided to print it in sepia tone. So you can see I had some time to play this day. Okay, so all 3 of those. And that's almost closer to what I want because I want something, it's about my home and something that was a revelation one day. And so this all has to do about warm, your home, warmth, cozy, that type of thing. And so I thought, okay, this is getting close, okay? So there we have the original in 4x6, then 4x6 in black and white, and then in sepia tone. So then I thought, okay, well, I really like that sepia tone, but I really like the black and white. So then I took the same few images and I print them in a wallet in black and white. And I thought, okay, now we're getting a little close to home, but still not quite the mood and feel I wanted. So then what I did was I took the image I wanted, and I think I only had 3 or 4 pictures I snapped. It was really getting dusk. We were done doing some yard work that day and, sprucing up the place. And so I thought, okay, well, I found the image that really captured what I wanted to say in the story, and then I printed it basically in a 4x4, and I talk about this in the photo series, how I do this on my Epson, so definitely check that out. And then I just printed the same image twice, because that is just, it's going to reiterate what I wanted to say in the story. So, along with all of that talking, with mood and feel, that whole type of using supplies to help you enhance your story, it can also apply to your photos as well. So you can see that I did 3 different images in 3 different sizes to come up with really what I wanted. And I don't always do that. It's just I had a little bit of time to play, waiting for another phone call. You know how that happens. And so what will I do with these leftovers? I will date them, and they will go in my leftover bin, and you'll see that coming up in the photo series too. We're going to talk about it a lot in our photo series. I'm not going to rush through that. So if there's any question that you have about photo series, any maybe topic you want to see, just list it below, and I'll write it down. And then we can just keep talking about photos until we run out of things to talk about. But you know how photos is. Okay, so that is my 2 photos I'm going to use. Now, what am I going to do for an inspiration? Well, I pulled out a lovely Laura Whitaker layout, and I knew this was Laura's right away. Even before I read this, I knew it was Laura's. I don't know how, but you just start to know your favorite scrapbookers. And so this is from Scrapbooking Cards Today, their online magazine, which is free, and I will have that listed below. And this came from summer of 2016. So I think I'm basically, if you look at Laura's sketch, it's basically a band design with a footer, and that's probably what I'm going to do. It's going to be a simple design because I don't have a lot of time to scrapbook today, but I don't want to be in a hurry to record this story. So I think that's what I'm going to do. A band with a footer, and of course, play with all these embellishments, because you can see Laura has a lot of embellishments. That's what she's known for. So I have this whole bag. You know, definitely can play with that. And then also too, I got an idea when I was looking at my kit contents. I think I'm going to play with this bracket a little bit, maybe down here at this footer. And then also too, let's just be real, 2 items I pulled out, this Heidi Swap Shine. I don't know. I'm going to try to play with this because that was my challenge, and I don't want to go through the month and not play with this. So if I don't play with it this week, I definitely have to get it in next week, but I'm going to put it here as an inspiration. Maybe I'll crack it open. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning. I really don't feel like cleaning up after myself when I scrapbook. I'm just going to be honest. Yes. So we'll see how that lands. Somebody send some good vibes my way, but we'll see. I don't know if the navy, maybe, I don't know, the gold, I don't know. Everybody talks about this. And then the scuttlebutt was, one of my subscribers said that they may be coming out with another Heidi Swap Color Shine in a different formula. So isn't that interesting? Something to keep your eyes open. My subscribers are so intelligent, so knowledgeable. I just love you gals. I just really do. Okay, so that is how I'm going to start this page, using 2 4x4 photos of the same image, using this beautiful floral paper from Maggie Holmes Flourish, using a Simple Stories wood grain basic, yes, having fun, and then of course the Laura Whitaker inspiration. That's what I'm going to do. So that is how I'm going to start that, and let's come back and see how I finish it. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm back with my finished fast page, and you want to know how long it took? 33 minutes. Yes, I was doing it left and doing it right. So what I did was I took Laura's layout here, and I did the starting point of a band in the middle and a footer down at the bottom, and that's all I did. And of course you see she has a diagonal design in her layout, and that is basically what I did. So very happy with that inspiration. So what I did was I took this Simple Stories wood grain basic as my background, and I gave it a mat of some white textured cardstock just to frame it a little bit, because sometimes I think things feel a little floaty if it doesn't have a mat. It's just the season I am in for doing that. And then I took a 5-inch piece of this beautiful Maggie Holmes Flourish paper, and I just left it as 12 inches and put it right on top of that wood grain. And then I use a little piece of leftover as another floral strip up here, just to give me a little bit of a base for my title, which says Finally Home. And then of course here are my 2 photos. That is the exact same image to re-emphasize my story, and then 2 photo corners, and then down here I did a footer. So simple to do. So what did I do? I used my Martha Stewart bracket punch, and then I just took a piece of yellow that pattern paper that was in my kit, and then what I would do is I would take that bracket and I would cut it in half, and then that's all I did. I put 6 pieces down here as my footer. I would have liked to had 5 because an odd number is more pleasing for the eye, but I needed 6 to go across. So don't forget about what shaped punches you have, cutting them in half and then making that a decorative row. You could do it at the bottom as a footer, you could do it as a top, as a header, you could do it even left and do it right, and then also too cut them in half for little tucking pieces. I love doing that with just punches that we have, just simple punches, something we started out with. So of course what I did for my diagonal design is that I used, believe it or not, I use these My Mind's Eye Now and Then chipboard, if I can see the year, 2014, and so they were the doily scallop type pieces, and so that is where I put one bigger one down here and a smaller one up here, and then just sprinkled with brads, because I had a lot of brads in this kit. And of course I just played with the wood grain and the teal and the yellow, and that's what I did, and added just a little touch of gold enamel dots for a little bit of more interest. And so of course my title says Finally Home, and then I have a subtitle says That Moment When. Time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. And so that is again from the load prompt that Alice gave us, was scrapbook about a revelation or something you discovered. And the story of this page, and my journaling will go down here and I'll show that. It's going to tuck right underneath this brad. It's going to go on top of that embossed cardstock, but it's a little bit of a personal info. I don't want to list everything, but it's basically about the day that I was just walking around my home, and it finally hit me after all these years, and I was in my early 30s, that I finally had a home. And I will never forget that moment. It was just like all of a sudden, I just stopped and I looked around and I thought, I finally have a home. It was the first time in my life I felt like I had a home. It was a big deal for me. Yes, a very big deal for me. It was a defining moment in my life. And I think it kind of changed a little bit of my mindset, that I became very content after that. See, yeah, life-defining moment for me. And so, and I will journal about that, and I, you know, I will probably have a lot more to say than that, but it was just that moment when I finally realized that I was finally home. Oh, yes, love that. That is why I love this hobby. That is why I love recording the story, because otherwise these are just photos of the home, and these photos are not from the exact day when that happened. It doesn't matter. It's just a representation that I was outside my home one day and something just caught my eye, and I thought, I finally have a home. I finally have a home. And I felt like home. So that to me was a big deal. So that's why I'm doing this page. So I'm so glad that Alice gave us that prompt and to record this story. Absolutely. So of course my journaling will go here. I just gave it a fishtail with my hexagon punch. Easiest way in the world to do a fishtail. And then of course these photo corners, would you believe they were from a Becky Higgins school kit from way back in the day. And so let's talk about a little bit of a visual triangle, because when I was creating this page, the reason why it went so fast, because this is a go-to design of the band design. Very, very quick. That's all this is, as a background, of course, on a mat with a 5-inch piece of band. And I did a makeshift footer of these Martha Stewart brackets. Very, very fun. So what I had was a little pop of black here. So to make it look intentional for this acetate piece, which was at Kaisercraft, which is one of my starting points of this kit crunch, is that I made sure that I had a little bit of black up here. That's why I added that border strip. It was just a leftover piece of this black floral. I think that's from the actual Auburn lane. It was left over from my last week's page. And then I added a little black enamel heart. So those 3 little pieces right there give me that visual triangle of that black. And then the same way, of course, with wood grain, I have wood grain extending from clear up in here, clear down here, clear down here, even clear down here. I use a wood grain braid. Now there is nothing better in the world than a wood grain braid. Yes, absolutely. And so then, of course, you see I have the yellow going throughout. I have the teal and this turquoise. And then, of course, adding in some labels. Something as simple as a label. And I use these October Afternoon Woodland Park beautiful colors. And I took a label and I put it right here underneath my title. Just gave it a little bit of something, and then 2 little labels right here. And that right there, just those 3 labels create another visual triangle. So remember, when you're doing things, do them odd and then try to do them a visual triangle. It makes your design go so much quicker, as in this 33 minutes quick. Absolutely. This is a quick page. This is why we love our go-to designs, and I will have the go-to design band video listed below and another layout you can watch using the band design. So that is what I have for today. So excited for this, and I hope you're enjoying our 4 for 4 series going on right now and our photo series going on right now. So much fun to be had. Yes. Now, I want to say one more thing. Come back next week and we're going to have Kit Krunch, but we're going to do the flip. Yes, we're going to do a Kit Krunch flip, and that's what we're going to work on next week. So come back. I'm going to keep playing with all these lovely, lovely colors, and maybe get these in. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.